Russell Westbrook is officially walking away from basketball. 18 seasons, thousands of games, more than 27,000 points, over 10,000 assists, and more triple doubles than anyone in NBA history. Yet somehow, when people talk about Russell Westbrook today, his legacy is often reduced to one word: Westbrook. That's what makes his career so strange. A player who won an MVP, made 9 All-Star teams, became a 9-time All-NBA selection, won 2 scoring titles, and completely changed what we thought was possible for a point guard, is remembered by many people for his missed jump shots and turnovers. Westbrook wasn't perfect because what he accomplished in his prime was extraordinary. And now that his career is over, it's worth looking back at just how special he really was. Russell Westbrook wasn't supposed to become this player. Coming out of UCLA, he wasn't viewed as a future MVP. The Seattle SuperSonics selected him 4th overall in the 2008 NBA draft, and the organization was about to move to OKC. At first, Westbrook was playing alongside another star named Kevin Durant. Durant was the scorer, Westbrook was the explosive guard trying to find his place. Then came James Harden. Suddenly, OKC had 3 young players who would eventually become superstars. Thunder were building something incredible. Westbrook's development happened quickly. His athleticism was so obvious from the beginning, but there was something much more to this game than simply being fast. He was aggressive, he was fearless, and he played every possession like it mattered. The intensity became his trademark. By the early 2010s, Westbrook wasn't just Durant's sidekick anymore. He'd become a superstar in his own right. Thunder reached the NBA Finals in 2012, and Westbrook was only 23 years old. The team was incredibly young. Durant was 23, Westbrook was 23, Harden was 22. It looked like OKC had found the foundation for a dynasty. Then everything changed. Harden was traded. Years later, Durant left. Suddenly, Westbrook was the last superstar standing. And that's when we got the version of Westbrook that the basketball world had never seen before. MVP season, summer of 2016, everything changed. Kevin Durant left OKC and joined Golden State. Thunder had just lost his franchise superstar, and most people expected the team to take a step back forward. Instead, Westbrook decided he was going to carry the entire thing. The result was one of the most ridiculous individual seasons in NBA history. Westbrook averaged 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, 10.4 assists. Averaging a triple-double had become almost impossible. Westbrook didn't just break the record, he made the impossible look normal. Every night, hunting rebounds alongside 7-footers, pushing the ball up the court and creating shots, scoring at an elite level. When the game was close, he wanted the ball. At every big dunk, Westbrook would scream. Clutch shots, he would pound his chest. His style wasn't smooth, it wasn't quiet. Explosive chaos, and it was working. Westbrook won the 2017 MVP award. What happened after that season became crazier. People thought Westbrook's triple-double season was a once-in-a-lifetime accomplishment. But then he did it again and again and again, eventually averaging a triple-double in 4 different seasons. Almost impossible when you think about it. Doing all 3 requires an unbelievable combination of athleticism, endurance, opportunity, basketball instincts. Westbrook finished his career with 209 triple-doubles. Nobody else has come close to that number. Craziest part is, people eventually got used to it. It stopped feeling historic because he did it so often. The problem with his greatness. There's an interesting contradiction with Westbrook. Things that made him special were often the same things that eventually hurt him. His aggression made him one of the greatest athletes at the point guard position. Aggression also led to turnovers. Confidence allowed him to make enormous shots. Sometimes he took shots he shouldn't have. His willingness to attack the rim made him nearly impossible to stop in his prime. But as he got older, lost some explosiveness, finishing at the rim became harder. Westbrook's game was built around pressure. Constantly attack, constantly push the pace, forcing defenders to react. When athleticism was at its peak, very few players could handle it. As he aged, the weakness became more obvious. Conversation around him started to change. After years in OKC, Westbrook asked for a trade. He went to Houston, played alongside James Harden, then came to Washington, Lakers, Clippers, Denver. Eventually, Sacramento became the final stop. And that's a lot of teams for a former MVP. Every new destination brought another debate about whether Westbrook could still fit into a winning team. The biggest problem was, however, in Los Angeles. Acquired in 2021, expectations were enormous. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, three superstars, one roster. On paper, it's terrifying. On the court, it was a complete disaster. The fit made no sense. LeBron needs spacing. Davis needs spacing. Westbrook was best at attacking the paint. His shooting limitations became more damaging because opposing defenses leave him open. Suddenly, every missed jumper was a headline. A turnover became memes. Every bad possession was dissected on national television. Criticism became relentless. His nickname, Westbrook, really exploded. A player spent years being one of the most feared athletes in basketball had a brutal transformation, from MVP to the punchline of NBA conversations. This is important. Westbrook doesn't mean pretending he didn't have flaws. He wasn't a great three-point shooter. His efficiency could be poor. Sometimes forced shots, turnovers were legitimate problems, and decision-making would become questionable when playing too fast. Weaknesses mattered, especially in the playoffs. Teams could game plan against him. His lack of shooting became harder to hide, and that's why his career didn't end up with a championship. You could criticize Westbrook's game while still recognizing extraordinary basketball player he was. But people forget how good he was in his prime. Picture a defender picking him up near half court. He gets a screen, one tiny opening appears, and suddenly he's gone. 3 steps later, he's at the rim. The defense collapses. 7-footers step up. Westbrook rises, and somehow he finishes. That's what made him difficult. His first step, explosive. Transition speed was ridiculous, and his motor never stopped. His competitiveness was almost unmatched. You could hate the way he played. Westbrook didn't just dominate individually. In OKC, he was the primary star. In Houston, he had to adjust around James Harden. In Washington, he helped Bradley Beal carry an offense. With the Lakers, he was asked to play alongside LeBron. In his later career, he accepted a bench role. Former MVP, coming off the bench, completely destroyed his ego. But Westbrook accepted it. He still played hard. He still competed. People started judging his entire career through the final few seasons. Judging Michael Jordan's career because of Washington. Judging Kobe Bryant by the end of his career. Players decline, and that's normal. Westbrook was no different. The version of him at 33 wasn't supposed to look like him at 27. Athletic guards lose some of their speed. And that is basketball. Before it happened, and before the decline, Westbrook was one of the best players ever. He still has an incredible career with 9 All-Star selections, an MVP, scoring title, 3 assist titles, and 9 All-NBA selections. He had 209 triple-doubles and more than 27,000 points, the most ever for a point guard, 10,000 assists, and more than 9,000 rebounds. The biggest missing thing in his resume is obvious. A championship. It's always going to be part of the conversation. He reached the finals once and lost to Miami in 2012 and never got closer. Didn't win a championship, and some people use that against him when comparing him to other legends. But basketball isn't an individual sport. He played in the Golden State era. He played alongside Durant before Durant left. He played against some of the greatest teams ever assembled. A championship would have changed how people viewed him, but its absence doesn't erase what he accomplished. And when his athleticism faded, dunks were less frequent, rim attacks were harder, and jump shots remained inconsistent. He bounced around teams, he took smaller roles, and dealt with the criticism. He watched younger players become stars, but he kept going. For 18 seasons, longevity for a player whose entire style depended on explosive athleticism. And eventually, every player reaches the moment. A final game, final time putting on an NBA uniform. Westbrook's career is now finished, and debates will continue. As time passes, people remember the whole picture. The kid from UCLA, the young Thunder's guard, a finals run, MVP season, 4 triple-double seasons, dunks, competitiveness, and a player who never stopped attacking. He loved the game because for nearly 2 decades, Russell Westbrook gave basketball everything. And whether people appreciate it enough while he was playing or not, they're going to miss him when he's gone.